unmistakably Canadian.
It's the music that raised you.
The artists raising the bar.
Hi, this is Brian Adams.
Hey, my name's Brett Emmons. I'm from the Glorious Sons.
Hi, I'm Nelly Furtado.
Made in Canada. The station that champions Canadian music.
Loud, proud, and all yours.
No passports required. Just press play.
Tap into Made in Canada now on iHeartRadio.ca
Or the free iHeartRadio app.
This week in gaming with Naomi Kyle.
Happy holidays, everyone. I'm Naomi Kyle, and welcome to a very special episode of This Week in Gaming. It's our year in review. Yep, it's that time again to take a look back at everything that happened in the world of gaming. Kahlief Adams and I are going to talk about everything from new hardware launches to GTA 6 getting delayed. Let's hit that rewind button.
Select game mode. Multiplayer.
Hello, Kahlief. Welcome back to This Week in Gaming.
It's good to see you, as always, and thank you for having me.
Good to see you as well. We have some stuff to look back at, basically. There's been so much that happened this year. Kind of a wild year for gaming. Lots of new things coming, hardware-wise, game-wise, controversy-wise. It's just been nonstop, I'd say.
It has been a very busy year. Like 2025, I think will go down as one of the kind of best years in gaming for what we got to play. Mm-hmm. But overall, just a very weird year in
right?
general, though. Yeah.
Like, we had some of the best games, the most incredible games we've seen in a long time, so many of them. And at the same time, the whole industry is going through an upheaval. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I figured we would just, for this episode, as kind of a recap, kind of as an homage to everything we've been through this past year. Just go down some of the highlights, some of the lower moments as well, but focus mostly on the positive as much as we can.
For sure.
And I kind of had a timeline that I put together here, but we kicked off the year pretty strong. Marvel Rivals had already been out, but there was some excitement around that, and that was mostly the top of the year from what I recall. Mm-hmm. And then come April, we got the Minecraft movie that came out. And that was pretty wild.
Uh-huh. I mean, I feel like Minecraft movie now at this point has become its own thing.
Yeah. Like,
we have an expectation for there to be more of them, and we see how they crush it every time in the box office. So that IP is doing well for being around for a long time.
Totally fine, yeah, for being an older game.
Yeah.
They're definitely going to make a sequel of that.
They have to. Like, that thing just makes money. It just rolls out dough at this point. So they got it.
I'd be shocked if they didn't make a sequel for it. If I recall, you did like the movie.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, it's one of those weird things where I've never really been a big Minecraft fan. It's never been. It was always a little bit younger for me in terms of the demographic who played it, even though I know a bunch of adults play it. But this year was a weird year for me because I actually started to get into Minecraft a little bit because I was looking at a job that I was trying to get, and I was like, ooh, you have to know how to play Minecraft to do this. But the movie was great. Like, I think it's one of those things where it's good popcorn fun. You get a chance to hang out and see, some of your favorite voice actors and actors do their thing. And it now is going to bridge itself out into kind of more stuff in the years coming. I'm now it's like, who are they going to get next?
Right.
To be the next voice actor in that series. So that'll be
right. I think they'll probably end up keeping Jack Black for the most part. The way it ended, though, the movie, I feel like did it leave room for a sequel? I don't recall. I think it did.
I think they always leave things open.
Yeah.
At this point, it's like Marvel movies where you're like, yeah, you really should have ended that like 6 years ago, but also we know that the IP folks are like, nah, we got to make more of these bad boys. They do well.
Definitely, so they're money printing machine. They're printing machines.
Yeah, for sure.
Money printing machines. There you go. Okay, cool. So we had the Minecraft movie that came out April 4th. Then the big thing that same month was the tariffs and all the stuff that came with that because the Switch was about to come out. We were like, how is this going to affect the price? That was a big part of our conversations oftentimes when you were on the show.
Yeah.
Where do you think we're at now with the tariffs? I feel like it's gotten lost in the conversation a little bit.
I still think there's some ambiguity about like where we are from, and again, like I want to say, I think a lot of this is being driven by the U.S. economy and the U.S. government of like where these things are kind of going. And there still is, even as me as a consumer and as a person who lives here in the States, I don't know. Like, it is one of those weird things where I'm like, well, is now the time to continue to buy into certain pieces of hardware. We've seen this big influx in RAM prices as well now coming up with the conversations around tariffs now extending themselves into the PC space. But it winds up being this discussion point where no one knows where the ground floor is anymore. And I think the markets are adjusting and readjusting consistently and constantly to try to match what the tone and rhetoric is coming from the Trump administration. So I think we don't know where it's going, but we've seen the effects of it already. We've seen prices go up. We've seen some instability in terms of the way that people are thinking about buying because of all the other pieces that go along with that discussion of how's the economy doing in general. But I do think, we saw, and we're talk about it a little bit later, about just like prices for hardware have just changed in the ways that we think about them. Prices used to go down once hardware got older, and now they're not. They're going up in some cases. So it's a real toss up right now of like, what do the tariffs mean, and how is it actually going to affect you at home in a real way?
Yeah. And so that was a big part of the year. That was just like always in the back of the conversation. It's funny. It was usually gaming feels so separate from like the rest of the world. And this time it was a complete, like they were tethered. There was no separating the two. All right. This brings me to May. In the month of May, GTA 6, the second trailer for it. And of course the hype for it, because we were all expecting it to come out at a certain time. But of course, it got delayed again. At that point, that was the second trailer. Hype is still there for GTA 6. I'm really excited for it. I think the hype was there at that time. It's not changed. And I remember really liking that new trailer and being like, all right, I think they're building up the hype pretty well. What did you think?
They fleshed out the world. They continue to flesh it out. They continue to get people excited for it. I'm now at the point where we have a date, which is great. And now I'm just waiting for the time to hit. And I'm like,
November.
When the GTA Mageddon hits, it's going to be great, and it's going to be rough and weird.
2026.
Yep.
Now, this is more of a general moment in time that happened while we were talking about all sorts of stuff throughout the year, but there is some conversation about the end of the console wars, so to speak. The end of exclusive games for consoles. It was definitely like, that was a big part of what Microsoft was pushing. That was a big part of even what PlayStation was saying. It just kind of, petered out, I feel like. What did you think?
I'm happy. I'm so happy. I'm so very happy. This is when I get to put my happy face on, the extra happy face. And be like, thank God this thing is over with. It is such a unreasonable, unnecessary discussion point for the community to kind of delve into and still find themselves in these weird camps that don't really exist. I am happy to see that the space is moving towards this kind of more open, less walled garden kind of discussion. I do think that, we'll still see exclusives that pop up and will be drivers for hardware and for software. But it's nice to be able to say, like, hey, you want to play this game with me? And I don't have to think about where you play. Like, that's awesome. Like, that's a really fun thing that I think we continue to miss out. At least the community continues to miss out while they're still fussing. But I'm like, man, like, I don't have to think about that part now. There is no layer of just like, oh, I can't even play with you, fam, because I don't have the game on that platform. I just jump on, load up, and I'm rolling. So I'm happy to see where it's going. I do want to see how far they go with it, because I think that'll be the next discussion point of like, where does this actually move the needle? And how far does that go? So I'm happy for it.
I think for games at least, it'll help them reach a wider audience, get them to, be more accessible for, certain games that were for a long time so exclusive to one platform. Now having them opened up, I don't know. I think it's good for the ecosystem. I really think like being able to say, all right, now, like you said, it's just more open, and there's less of this like feeling of like, oh, do I pick this hardware or this one? Like, I'm also now more flexible in that choice.
I guess
you get the same amount of games.
Yeah, I agree. I guess my question for you is, I think the big elephant in the room is the idea around competition, right?
Yeah.
Does this feel like for you as a person who I know plays on a bunch of different systems and a bunch of different hardware, does this feel like for you as a player that competition is potentially going to go out the window when we see everyone using the space? How does it feel for you in that way?
I think there will be a bit of that. I wonder, in my mind, it kind of levels the playing field a little bit, but I do agree, like there'll be less reason to purchase any one console. There'll be less reason to purchase, but then you're just free to pick whatever games you want to play. I think for me it does raise some concern, but then I look at Steam Machine that just came out, and I think with that, like, I don't know, Microsoft and Sony might have something to worry about a little bit there. That's just my take.
No, I appreciate that a ton, because I also am in that same camp where I'm like, this is going to be the era of competition and seeing where everyone kind of lays their chips on the table to see what they kind of go after. And Steam definitely has a space in there too.
I think for hardware, it'll just be hard.
Yeah.
It's in the name. I just think hardware in general is difficult for companies. Yes. Always has been. So will it lead to a point where we just don't have, everyone will either have a PC, like it won't really matter what console you have, and then people will it just be PCs from here on out? I don't know.
I don't know.
I think for the non-average gamer, someone who's not like us, who has everything and any console, now they just have kind of more variety, more choice in the matter. Yeah. Like, I like the look of this console. Maybe that becomes the thing that they're thinking about. Yeah. That makes sense, right?
Yeah, I rock with that. Yeah, I rock with that for sure.
I'm Dylan Playfair.
And I'm Tyler Smith.
We're putting loneliness in the penalty box by talking to some of our favorite athletes about the importance of friendship.
This is Bromance.
Bromance is brought to you by Charm Diamond Centers, proudly Canadian-owned and operated. Charm has been part of your love stories and bromances for over 50 years. And you can find Bromance on the iHeartRadio network or wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, we're going to touch on, of course, the elephant in the room. Layoffs was a huge part of the year. Microsoft in general lost something like 9,000 jobs. Sony with Bend Studio closure. I just think, it was a really tough year. It continued the trend that we saw, last year. Sorry, 2024.
Yeah, I know.
Trying to remember what year we're in. It continued that trend, and I don't know if it's going to stop in the new year, but I'm hopeful. And that was just one of the really hard parts to have to report on throughout the year. It was just talking almost every news story had, almost every week, I had some new layoff news or new studio closure news of some kind. I tried to, near the end, I was like, there's just no point mentioning each one because we just know it's happening, right?
Yeah, I mean, the hardest part about all of this, especially as a person who works in the industry too, is we had the COVID monster come and take everybody's jobs, or at least the understanding of what the kind of reallocation of resources is now. That's what most corporate speak is saying, is we need to reallocate the resources now because we overhired during COVID. And now you have AI kind of coming into the conversation as the second coming of what this potentially could be, that will cut more jobs, or at least be a part of the corporate speak that we'll see post people being laid off. It's just a real hard time out here. I think a lot of folks who have been in this space for a long time, or even folks who are even very, very new, it is very difficult to figure out where's the footing for you. And to figure out what does that mean for players. And we still even have some layers of the community who are still hey, put fries in a bag if your game doesn't do well. So it's there's not a lot of space for folks why would I do the 6-7 thing? Anyway, but it's that feeling of just not knowing what the future holds for a lot of people in an industry that is very, very needed in the entertainment space as the driver of much of entertainment. So hard out here for everybody.
I think related to that story that we got to experience this year, and definitely became more part of the conversation, was how, AAA games aren't that feasible anymore, and we're seeing a lot of non-AAA studios have huge successes, come out with games that are beloved and sell super well. So I think that was the other thing. I felt like this year was the, solidification of that, with Claire Obscure being, Game of the Year, with the previous year being Balatro. Was it Balatro? No, it was Astrobot.
Yeah, Balatro and Astrobot too.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So I feel like for that, that just tells me like that's the side that's like been solidified now. Like that's the new, I think a lot of studios are thinking like that now. They're thinking, how do we be more creative with smaller resources, less resources, and not go the big, $300 million per game route.
Yeah, I think we are in a really smart space in terms of being able to talk to that. I think even a couple of years ago, we didn't really have language for it. We were still trying to figure out like what's the vibe of the room and what that means. And to be fair, like we've seen multiple small studios do well over the past decade. I think No Man's Sky was a big hit that continued to get some legs once it did that from Hello Games. Supergiant with Hades was a huge success and still continues to grow with Hades 2. There are these smatterings of interesting games that wind up coming out. And then we also have these kind of AA studio games that come out that do really well, or at least capture the zeitgeist in the moment. With Arc Raiders now from Embark, having already done the finals, there's a space now where people are forgetting.
Yeah.
That studios of that size have been putting out bangers for a minute. Yeah. So it's I hope that there's still space for the AAA though. Like I still think you need those really big God of War, Uncharted kinds of games to still soak up some of that space, because they just expand a little bit of like where we can go and how big we think games can be. And I don't want us to lose sight of that while also being able to celebrate how dope it is to see, folks like Clair Obscur do so well. So I'm hoping that we have a balance there and that we can figure out what that looks like.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's a balance there, and I think we have a room for all different sorts. The really long games, the really expensive games versus the smaller teams, less money, but very creative and fun and still really good. I totally agree with you there. Yeah. All right, big part of the year. Actually, I'd say it was in my top 3 moments of the year was the launch of the Switch 2. The hype build up for that, getting ready for it, all the announcements that came with it. Yeah, the Nintendo Switch 2 launched June 5th. It feels like forever ago at this point, but yeah, it's that was a big part of the year. Yeah, the Nintendo Switch 2. Did you feel like? What do you think about the Switch 2 at this point? Are we feeling like it's going to topple what the Switch 1 did?
That's a good question. I don't know if it'll topple it. I think we're at a mass Switch saturation moment where you have the folks who are kind of moving towards the newer hardware, and then you have the folks who are still like on their Gen 1 hardware who are like, I don't really need another version of this because either that or I have another handheld in my mix of hardware that I play on. But I do think what Nintendo continues to do is they put out really smart IP underneath their big umbrella. They continue to hit all the stuff that are fan favorites. They continue to hit the nostalgia factor. And they keep putting out really good, solid hardware that is coming out at a reasonable price point that I think has a really good suite of software. So they're doing everything you can ask for as a fan, if you're a Nintendo fan. So they're still rocking.
It was cool to see. It was cool to see that we had a new Switch this year. That was a really fun part. We talked a lot about price hikes, tariffs, of course, but games too. Games got really expensive. Talking $80, $90 a game. So not only were the consoles a little bit pricier than we're used to, games went up in price. It's just a trend, not just in gaming. It's everywhere.
I mean, I think that's the canary in the coal mine for everybody, right? Like that was the moment where a lot of folks were like, ooh, this is my hobby and this got real expensive real fast in a way that didn't feel like there was any real consensus outside of, no, we're just doing it.
Right.
Like there wasn't
and Nintendo was the one to do it.
That was the wildest thing.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of people forgot was that they were the first ones to jump into that boat hard.
That's right.
And go there and be like, all right, y'all, now we're 80 and 80 is going to be the price. I mean, we still have seen some folks pull back. We saw Outer Worlds pull back on their initial pricing that was going to be around that price. But also now we're going to continue to see like who's going to be the next game, and everyone's pointing at GTA for that.
Definitely.
Right? So we'll see.
Definitely. Real quick, PlayStation and Xbox handhelds were big talk Xbox obviously announcing their handheld during the summer. So now it's become the handheld wars, I guess. that got spearheaded this year because I'm sure PlayStation's confirmed to be working on a handheld. We just don't have any info on anything. Like we haven't seen it physically.
Yeah.
Xbox handheld, on the other hand, the ROG Ally, people got their hands on it. Then we have the SAG-AFTRA video game strike that ended July 9th. GTA 6 we just mentioned got delayed again November 6th. We got our first set images for the Zelda movie November 17th. The cast got announced in the summer, of course, July 16th, and then the set images. Yeah, I guess I wasn't surprised that GTA 6 got delayed again.
Yeah.
I feel like that was expected. Will it get delayed a third time? That is the question.
The rioting will begin if they do it again. I have a feeling. Yep. Yeah,
totally. And then we, of course, got the surprise Steam machine at the end of the year. That was a big surprise for a lot of people. And that was pretty hyped up. People were excited about that.
Do you want one? I guess that's the big question.
Oh my gosh. It depends. I mean, what if it launches with Half-Life 3?
I might
have to at that point.
Yeah, I think at that point, that becomes a must.
Do they make it exclusive to the console, though?
If they're smart, they are. Can you just play it
on PC? Yeah.
If they're smart, they are. Like, pack that into that thing, and it's the only way you get it. Ooh, man, sales are off the door immediately.
That's just where I'm at with that. That was pretty much it. I feel like I covered everything. Did we missed anything about we're doing just a recap. We're just talking all the stuff that affected us this year. The stuff that was in the news that was like a big deal. The good and the bad. But yeah, I don't think I missed anything. Anything came to mind?
No, I mean, most of the stuff we covered, I think in the biggest conversation of the Game Awards was just clear, obscure sweeping for the most part, which we all kind of knew was going to happen after having played that game. So shout out to Sandfall for bringing it home.
For sure, yes. Sad Blueprints didn't win anything, though, I will say.
Sad Blueprints didn't win, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a great show. Great wrap up to the year. And thanks, guys, for tuning into our wrap up.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I'll see you in the new year, Kahlief. And it's been so great having you on the show. I hope you'll be back for more in the future. And enjoy your holiday.
Thank you for having me. It's been such a fun year of doing these shows with you. You are amazing. I love the audience. The audience has been really sweet when they do relay that they've heard me on the show and love the episodes. And it's just been so much fun. So thank you so much for having me. And I can't wait to do more in 2026. So I'm excited.
Same here. The feeling is mutual. All right. Happy holidays. I'll talk to you soon, Kahlief. Later.
Bye.
Flawless victory. Continue.
And that's This Week in Gaming. I'm your host, Naomi Kyle. Thanks for tuning in to our Year in Review episode. Next week, we'll have a look ahead at what's coming up in 2026, so don't miss it. Until then, from all of us here at This Week in Gaming, we wish you a happy holiday surrounded by the ones you love, filled with lots and lots of gaming. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.
This Week in Gaming is an iHeartRadio Canada podcast. Subscribe to this podcast on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts. Download the iHeartRadio app for more podcasts just like these.
I'm Dylan Playfair.
And I'm Tyler Smith.
We're putting loneliness in the penalty box by talking to some of our favorite athletes about the importance of friendship.
This is Bromance.
Bromance is brought to you by Charm Diamond Centers, proudly Canadian owned and operated. Charm has been part of your love stories and bromances for over 50 years. And you can find Bromance on the iHeartRadio network or wherever you get your podcasts.